Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. With me today, our interim general manager, Kyle Davidson, as well as Derek King, who yesterday was named interim head coach of the Chicago Blackhawks. In a moment, I'm going to turn it over to Kyle, who will open with a few remarks. Following that, we will open for questions. If you have a question, please raise your hand and wait for the wireless mic. I also ask that you please state your name and who your question is intended for. With that, I'll turn it over to Kyle.
Thanks, Adam. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here today and also for your patience in waiting to talk to me. I appreciate your understanding, and please know that transparency is important to me, to our team, our ownership, and our fans, and I hope to provide you with that today. First of all, I want to thank Jeremy Colleton, Sheldon Brookbank, and Thomas Mattel for their time, efforts, and dedication to the organization, and I wish them all the best in the future. While I've only been in the role of interim general manager for just over a week, I quickly recognized the need for a change and took my thoughts and conclusions to Danny and Rocky Wirtz yesterday. They were supportive of my decision, and I appreciate their confidence in me and my leadership to take this action. As I said yesterday, our goal is to build an elite system of hockey on the ice, and we simply haven't delivered on that goal. Certainly, it wasn't part of the plan to start the season the way we have. Our on-ice performance has been inconsistent and simply not good enough, which is why I believed this was a necessary change to help rectify the results we've seen so far. As we sit here today, in my role, I'm evaluating everything in hockey operations, and although I've been in the organization for a number of years, it's become quite apparent to me that you see things much differently when you have the full view provided by the general manager's seat. With this new perspective and insight granted to me by my new role, I'll continue the evaluation process and make the changes that I deem necessary as I've been empowered by leadership to do. The evaluation process never ends. With respect to our new interim head coach, I believe Derek King was the right person for the role because he provides the team with an outside voice as well as a familiarity with some of the players already in the locker room. On Derek's staff, Mark Crawford will continue to provide us with significant NHL experience and the necessary familiarity with the group, which is crucial to a smooth and productive transition. I believe they provide an excellent balance between new voices and familiarity in moving this team forward. Patience is going to be important as we work through this transition, but I'm extremely excited about where we're headed. From a personal standpoint, I want to take a moment to thank Rocky and Danny Wirtz for entrusting me with this immense responsibility, and I fully intend on proving that their faith in me is justified. Thank you.
Kyle, Mark Lazarus. You kind of alluded to this. Do you have, as interim general manager, the full powers of GM? Do you have the full authority to make changes as you see fit, or are there some checks on that until that interim tag is potentially removed?
No, I think as Danny stated in his comments yesterday, I've been given full authority and autonomy to proceed as I see fit, and that goes for any area of our hockey operations and roster.
We're obviously working under Stan Bowman, but it's natural that there would be differences of opinion. Where do you see things differently maybe than the course that was charted before you?
Yeah, obviously, I did work under Stan, but I think given my new perspective on things, my new proximity to the team and to the hockey operations, and I think what I've learned, as I stated, it's a whole different viewpoint that you get when you're, in the weeds every day. And so it's a continuous evaluation. I think I'm going to make my own determinations. We're not beholden to anything that's happened in the past. And now that I'm in the role, I'm going to make the decisions that I think are best for the organization.
Tracy Myers, NHL.com. Derek, this is for you. There's enough challenges when you come in with a team at the start of a camp, and what are the challenges that you face now with this team where it's at and going forward? Thank you.
Well, the challenge is it's really just getting to know these guys. Even though we're at camps and we get to see their faces walking around, we're not really on the ice with them. So I thought today went well. I got to chat with a lot of the guys, had a couple of little one-on-ones, and the big challenge is really just to get these guys up and running and familiar with me, what I'm looking for out of them, and take it day by day. It's not an easy situation, but I'm thankful for the Wirtz family and everybody here, and Kyle that's given me the opportunity to try.
Kyle Scott Powers. The organization obviously said it. Kyle Beach deserved better. As acting GM, how do you see your role in ensuring something like that doesn't happen again?
Well, I think first of all, it starts with the leadership, and we've enacted many changes over the last 10 months that we haven't necessarily talked about yet, but the process has begun. And with me in the position I'm in now, I fully intend on being part of the solution to make sure something like that never happens again, and also being part of the solution in the grander hockey culture, because I think there's areas we need to improve, and I intend on being a positive influence in that endeavor.
Derek, John Dietz, what was your message on just day one? And have you been able to meet with the team a couple times, or was it, can you just kind of go through a little bit of that?
We spoke, me and Crow went in and just had a little chat with them and just kind of a few words, tried to keep it simple and short. Was more just the expectations of, it's going to be demanding getting back to where we want to be, but we're also going to make it fun. There's nothing wrong with working hard and having fun, but we got to do it together. And that was my message. And we'll like, again, I'll say it, we'll take it a game at a time, day at a time, and then we'll just keep moving forward.
Just give us a little bit about your coaching philosophy as far as, guys making mistakes. Do you sit a guy for?
I've been asked that before.
Yeah.
I don't, I think I just kind of go the feel of the game. I don't come in going, okay, I got to do this, this, and this. It's what do we have now? As the games go, we got a couple games here we get through, and I'll sit down with the staff and just say, okay, I think we should maybe tweak this or tweak that, and we'll go from there. I've had people ask me about my style. I don't think I have a style. I get a feel for the game, feel for the players, and I just go with that.
Kyle, Ben Pope here. What was, over the past few days, what was the evaluation process to determine what was going wrong and that a coaching change was necessary, in your opinion?
Yeah, no, thanks, Ben. I think, it wasn't necessarily one thing, one event, one game. It's similar to what Derek is referencing. I think it's a lot of feel. Obviously the results are what they are, not good enough. That goes without saying, but I think I believe that the message being delivered wasn't translating to on ice, either production or changes or fixing of mistakes that kept occurring over and over again. And the losses aren't necessarily the issue. I think it's sometimes the way you lose that needs to that shows the change needs to be made. And so it was just an accumulation and a general feel for how the response was being shown once the puck dropped.
What kind of conversation did you have with Jeremy, to let him know that you were making that change, and just how did that go down?
Yeah, it's not easy. It's a really tough conversation to have. Again, I've been in the role for just over a week, and it's not what you want to do, but I think you don't get to choose how these things progress, and you just have to react and do what's right for the team. And as far as the conversation, it was quick, it was to the point, and I think out of respect for Jeremy, I think you don't want to draw that out too long. You just give him what the situation is, what your decision is, and just thank him for his time, and that was about it.
Phil Thompson, first for Kyle. Will you and Derek have the rest of the season as an evaluation period, or will there be an ongoing search or evaluation for permanent candidates for both your jobs?
I think with respect to the, I can speak on the coaching search. I think that's something that we will undertake after the season. Mid-season, it's not something that's you're not able to explore maybe the number of candidates that you'd like. So that's something we'll explore after the season. We've got a lot of time to get there. In the meantime, we're going to focus on getting some wins and playing the right way and getting back to a brand of hockey that our fans can be proud of. And in terms of a leadership search, I think that's something that's going to be an ongoing process. You know, and I'm willing to assist and help in any way possible. And if that way possible is in helping, you know, Danny and Rocky is to make it easy on them to select myself, then that's what I'll do too. Because, you know, I love the Chicago Blackhawks. I love being here, and all I want is to do what's right by the fans, what's right by the organization, and get us back to where we want to go.
And then for Derek, I know you said you want to have a couple of games to evaluate, and that's fine. Do you see anything, especially schematically, like perhaps on defense, that you like to change? And also, you know, having experienced yourself, do you feel that'll help you connect with the players as a former player?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, it's getting through tonight's game, seeing how our D zone. I mean, I've watched the games. I've sat up top and watched the games, and it's easy to pick a game apart up there. But when you're on the bench and talking with these guys, you'll get a feel for what they're thinking and see the struggles, if there are any struggles tonight. I'm hoping there's no struggles in our D zone, but if there is, then I'll have to sit with Crow and you know, look at it and go, okay, maybe we do need to make a little adjustment here and there. But for now, we're not changing anything. We're going to get those guys out there and play. The biggest thing for me is the accountability. Go out there, work hard, play the game right, don't cheat it, and we'll be fine. And if you don't do that, then the accountability is going to kick in. You're going to hear from me.
Charlie Romeliotis, this is for Kyle. Can you pinpoint exactly why the success or the message wasn't translating in your maybe assessment when you were trying to making that coaching change? Like what exactly wasn't translating? Was it systematically? Was it why wasn't that message getting delivered?
With respect to why, I can't answer that, because that's probably a question you'd have to ask the players. All I can judge is the results, and to me it was just more a fact of we were making mistakes that I felt were correctable, that weren't being corrected, and I know the messaging to the players was something I was satisfied. The translation of message to response was not something I was satisfied with, and I think that's where it's incumbent on me to step in.
And then how challenging was this for you, this process where you don't really have a senior leadership to kind of bounce things off of, and you're maybe like isolated and don't have a strong support group right now? How challenging?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I don't have a strong support group. I think I have a lot of support, both internally and externally. There's not many people here in Chicago. That's true. So maybe not as many hockey ops support staff here in Chicago in terms of senior leadership, but I definitely wouldn't say I'm left by myself. I've got a lot of great help, and a lot of great advice has come my way, both from expected and unexpected places, and it's been really interesting. It's been obviously not the easiest stretch here, but from that perspective, I don't think I've lacked in quality opinion and assistance.
Kyle, Mike Berman from NBC5. The moves made in the offseason seem to suggest that, you know, the team was all in terms of trying to make a playoff push this year. It's been a bad start. Is it a lost season at this point, and it's more about just doing the things that can set you up for the future, or what are your expectations for the rest of the way this year, and what do you view as possible and realistic the rest of the way this year?
Sure, I appreciate that question. It's not the start we wanted. I think when people talk about a lost season, they probably look at playoffs as being somewhat of a benchmark for that. And look, right now we're 1-9-2, and you find out if you're a playoff team in April, and let's be fully honest, the math is not in our favor right now to get to that point. But no season is ever lost because you're always going to be able to learn something. You're always going to be able to continue your evaluation process. In terms of putting labels on playoff team or anything like that, that's, you know what, this is a new era now. I'm newly in charge, and where we go from here will be based on the evaluation that continues, has started when I took the job and continues now. There's a great opportunity for these players to have a blank slate with Derek, both individually and collectively. And I think we're going to learn a lot. I think I'm going to learn a lot in terms of what we see over the next weeks and months, and we can decide what direction we want to take at that point. But there's still a lot of information yet to be learned. So I don't think a season is ever lost in terms of your ability to learn and understand what you're dealing with. So yeah, no, definitely not lost.
Derek, I suppose we should ask what your reaction was when you were called, I suppose, yesterday, right? And are you the type that gets nervous? Will you be nervous tonight? Just a couple
Yeah,
of
I
those.
mean, I was in shock. Had a chat with Kyle, and I was just like, wow, okay, sure, I'll do it. Why not, right? But yeah, I'm nervous. I'm a little scared. I'm anxious. I'm excited. There's a lot of emotions going right now. It was good to get on the ice with the guys this morning, just to kind of get that out of the way. We had a couple of meetings. We'll do another meeting tonight, and I'll be nervous. But I think on the bench, I'll just kind of, before the game starts, step back, take it all in, and then, like, I got Crow's been around this game a long time. He's probably coached against me too. So he's a huge support, and I told him I'm going to lean on you a lot, and we're going to work well together. And then we'll just, like I said, and it's day to day, but it's game to game. It's me getting comfortable and the guys getting comfortable with me, the trust factor, and we'll just keep moving along here.
Along the lines of the question of whether this is a lost season, it seemed like a once-in-a-lifetime thing, but you look at the Blues a few years ago, Craig Berube comes in, was supposed to be just a placeholder. Everything turns around, they go from last to first, and they win. He gets the job full-time. I mean, is that something you can kind of cling to?
You're putting some pressure on me now. Yeah, I mean, I think we got the bodies, the players, and like Kyle was saying, I don't think it's a lost season. We're going to learn a lot. Our guys are going to learn a lot from each other, and we'll just keep moving forward. Come April, if by some miracle or whatever, if we're there, we're there. If not, that's okay, as long as we did our job, and we'll go from there.
And Kyle, you both mentioned Mark Crawford a lot here. Is there a reason he wasn't the choice here as the fill-in? Does it have something to do with kind of some of the baggage he had from a few years ago, with the verbal abuse, things like that?
No, the reason, and this wasn't a Derek versus Mark decision. It was very much I wanted Mark was entrenched in the coaching staff, and I thought the person at the top of the pyramid should be from the outside. Derek's not far away in Rockford, but still an outside perspective, an outside voice at the top of that pyramid. So that was the thought process behind that. Yeah.
For Kyle, just you said that now that you're in this GM role, you've gotten a fuller scope of,
Yep.
of everything going on. Just what kind of things have you learned outside of the coaching stuff over the past few weeks that you hope to act on, or just what have you learned in that sense?
I don't necessarily know if there's much yet that I'm willing to act on. I think that process continues, and if there are actionable items that I learn, then I have no problem taking those steps, and Danny and Rocky have provided me that autonomy and authority to do so. But I think the most eye-opening thing is just the scope of this job. Even I felt I was close to it before, and in close proximity to that GM role, but I don't think you fully understand how many directions you're being pulled until you're stepping in there. It's not something I expected, and not something I had understood of the role previous to this. So it's not any one thing. It's just There's just a lot. It's a high-profile role. There's only 32 of these positions in the NHL, and I'm very fortunate to be sitting in this seat. And I'm not complaining about the tough decisions I have to make because I'm pretty lucky to be here right now.
How would you describe your philosophy as a GM? I know your background in salary cap stuff and analytics, but just what's your general approach to all of this?
I think my general approach is not necessarily any one area, whether it be advanced statistics, old school scouting methods. I think my philosophy is to get the decision right and using the most comprehensive information at my disposal. Whether it's more an analytics side or more a scouting side, I really don't care where that information and quality decision-making data comes from. All I want is to have the most comprehensive information set to help me make the proper decision. So I just want to get it right rather than, there's no style points here. These are tough jobs, tough decisions, and 32 teams are trying to win, and 32 teams are working for the same goal. And so this is not easy. So all I want to focus on is making the right decision every time I have to do so.
Kyle, not having that first round pick or only having a top 2 protector for next year, how much is that, I guess, in the big picture part of this whole equation for you?
It's not. It really isn't. I think the general direction of the team, the decisions we make for the franchise are so much bigger than one selection. Is that a valuable asset? Of course it is. Of course it is. No one's going to dispute that. But the direction we want to go is far more important. Whichever direction that may be is far more important than one asset to take you out of one direction or the other. I think that would be a far too myopic a analysis.
For you, Derek, just I guess having experience with those guys in Rockford, how much of a, I guess from what you evaluate here, just even seeing Reichel or Nylander, and how much of that do you maybe see, maybe having some info on those guys, whether you guys need more offense or whatever you kind of see necessary?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we had a game plan when players come down to us that they need to play. They need to play a lot, like a Reichel. Is he ready? You never know. I mean, it's hard to, you call him up, a player like that, he plays a good game for you and everything. Well, he should have been here all year. But then, I always like to look at a 5-game segment, but by the 5th game, we'll see if he's ready or not. But we'll just, what's down there is a lot of good things are down there. And Anders will do a great job with these kids and get them prepared as we did over the course of the last few seasons. And we'll see where they're at.
For Kyle or Derek, I know there's a lot of shuffling with the coaching staff, and will there be a second assistant potentially added, or is this? I know there's no without Thomas and Sheldon, it's just Mark.
Yeah, I think that's a constant evaluation. I think my intention would be yes to add another assistant. I think, given the expediency in which we moved yesterday, there just wasn't an in-house candidate that we wanted to move into that role at this time. So that's going to be a constant discussion, but my preference would be to add to the staff, yeah.
And same goes for Rockford.
Correct. Yeah, we're definitely going to add someone in Rockford. I think we've got a great support staff down in Rockford through our development group, but I think just in terms of hands-on with the players, we want to be working with them every day. You need bodies for that, and so there'll be an addition there. Yes.
Derek, how do you approach forming a bond, a connection with Jonathan Taves and Patrick Kane, and maybe what do you want them to know about you and your thinking as you take the job?
Well, I had conversations. I just wanted to let them know, this is an open door policy here. If they have concerns or they want to sit and chat and have a cup of coffee, that my door's open, and I'll just build a relationship like that, talking to them a lot, always communicating, letting them have a voice, I think is key. and to go over situations, whether it's stuff on the ice or stuff as an entire team. We'll make sure we're always communicating. And that goes for all the players. It's not just, obviously those guys are key members, but that goes for all the players. And just building relationships like that.
Derek, this is for you, and Kyle, you can weigh in. What should fans know about your personality that they couldn't see in your bio? Maybe, I don't know, archery on the weekend?
I might not answer that question, no. I try to keep things light. I don't take it too serious. Even as a player, I tried not to get myself worked up too much. Maybe that was a bad thing once in a while, but I want these guys to feel relaxed. They're tight. And so I think my personality is going to come in and just let them just take a deep breath and get your shoulders dropped and go have some fun and get back to the game we love to play. We've played it since we were 5, 6 years old, and it hasn't changed. You might be making a little more money now, but it's just time to go back to playing some good, solid, hard hockey and have some fun with it.
And Kyle, if you'd like to weigh in on that, or I have another question for you.
Sure. I think my personal style or personality is similar to Derek's. And I take more of a philosophical view on it and I think it goes back to my answer with Ben, is that for myself, right now I'm sitting in a seat that there's only 32 of these positions available. And that's a very fortunate place to be sitting. That's, you know what, have I worked hard to get to this point? Yes, but I'm very young. I'm going to enjoy the position I'm in, and I'm going to enjoy the people that I work with, because we're really lucky. We're really lucky to be doing what we do, and there is a lot of responsibility. There's a lot of work to be done, but we have to come back to the fact that we're very fortunate. I work for the Chicago Blackhawks, and I'm the interim general manager. That's pretty special. And so I think we have to enjoy the ride, as hard as it may be sometimes. We have to enjoy the ride, and like Derek said, have a little fun, but with the understanding that we carry immense responsibility, not only to Rocky and Danny and the words family, but to the fan base who wants this team to succeed. So I think that's just kind of my personal philosophy when I'm dealing with staff. I like to have a good relationship with them, an open relationship. I'm not someone who has to be the boss, has to be, I'll make the tough decisions when they need to be made, but I'm approachable, and I think I'll be someone that everyone will enjoy working for.
And just real quick, personnel, do you have any philosophical differences from Stan with regards to how to handle Dylan Strome or Nylander, or how much run you give a certain prospect?
I won't get into specific players, but I think what I will say is I'm not Stan. I'm a different person, and with that comes different opinions, different philosophies for sure. I think as I continue to evaluate and I get exposed to the different aspects of the organization, there's definitely going to be some changes. There's definitely going to be some changes because I think I have strong opinions on how certain things should run, how certain things should operate, and so, we'll get into making those changes over time, but from a basic standpoint, there's definitely going to be differences just because we're different people.
Looks like that's all the questions we have. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.